Yalla Home
with Ana Schofield.
Big House.
Music's greatest songs. Worth covering. Original classic hitmakers.
All right, so I'm taking you right back to 1961 with this song, but the artist singing is born either 1912 or 1917, and no one knows which. There's even 1915 reported, but no one quite knows, and I love that about him. This guy is the ultimate blues singer. He is totally incredible. I only know of him because he was in the Blues Brothers. So Stevie Wonder was in the Blues Brothers. If you've never watched the Blues Brothers, go back and watch it. The original. Dan Aykroyd. I forget who else is in it. Who sings? It's not Shaka Khan. What's her name? Aretha Franklin's in it. Stevie Wonder's in it, and Johnny Lee Hooker. So this is the singer I'm talking about, John Lee Hooker. Known to, my parents would say Johnny Lee Hooker. They would say that. But anyway, let me tell you about his incredible life, because this guy came up hard, as they say in the trade, completely illiterate, couldn't write, couldn't read, couldn't write, but was the most incredible songwriter of all time. He also had a really strange kind of makeup to the way he actually put music together. So it made it very difficult for other musicians to come in and actually work with him because he wouldn't follow any of the normal rules. He played in a certain way that was odd, something about a 2-2 rather than a something, and other musicians would be like, what's going on? But that's what made him unique. He was the son of a sharecropper. I don't even know what that means. And he rose to fame playing his electric guitar, which you can hear. And it's kind of Delta blues, apparently. So they call it the Delta blues when it's played in this way, incorporating all sorts of elements. He did lots of talking blues. And this is what's so amazing. So he will cut to a verse where he's just talking it. And that voice is so rich that you're fine with it. So it's not rapping and it's not singing. It's that kind of big, husky, I've smoked all night and now I'm just going to tell you a story. You know, that really deep, gravelly thing. He's proper amazing. So let's go back to North Mississippi. That's where he was born, in Mississippi. And he grew up with this kind of driving rhythm, boogie-style blues in his house. His story it's not sad. It's just very, very real. So I don't know whether it was 1912, 1915, 1917 or 1920 that he was born. He's mentioned all of them in articles. And they couldn't... I mean, people have searched, like, the census, the federal census, and tried to find out. And so they think it was 1912, but they're really not sure. His mother and father split up. His mother then married, second time round, a musician. And this is where, and that musician was obviously very nice to John Lee Hooker because they had quite a close bond. And this is when John Lee Hooker was introduced to the guitar and music. And suddenly the house was filled with it. But they were quite poor. The children, he had lots of brothers and sisters, they were all homeschooled. And they were only permitted when they were young, apparently, to listen to religious songs. So he grew up with gospel and all sorts of things like that going on in his house, and that was what he grew up with. He mentions all sorts of kind of artists that were his influences, none of which you would know. We're talking, 1915 or 1920 here.
Quick question, so sorry to cut
tell
the
me.
floor. I'm just interested in something. You said that he grew up without a father and then a stepfather came through?
Stepfather came through.
It's interesting how with some people a stepfather is a blessing.
Yeah.
And, obviously there's a negative connotation with it sometimes, like they come in in his case, he's the one that, obviously. So same thing with Shaquille O'Neal, he didn't grow up with a father, and then obviously his stepfather came in and he got him into basketball.
Right.
And look at Shaq right now.
Wow.
Which is interesting. Wow. I'm just saying how it is, because sometimes God would throw these things at your life. Because it would be interesting to know if this man, the stepfather, didn't show up in Joan Lee's life. Would we have a Joan Lee?
Yeah, probably not.
It's
probably wouldn't. You're probably right. And it was him, and he makes the thing. John Lee Hooker, when he talks about it, he talks about his stepdad coming in and going, he was the one. He showed me the guitar. He showed me all of it. So his early career, he was working as a janitor in a steel mill in Detroit, and he began his recording career in 1948. Now, from all the research I did, this is what's quite interesting about that. It literally said, obviously he's black. Black artists then didn't make much money from their recordings. and it was because they were black. And it literally is written that way. Every which way I researched it, that's how it was. And actually, if you what is it that's on Netflix at the moment? Something Ma something's Black Bottom. Is all about that. The new series on Netflix. Amazing. Do you know the one I mean?
Oh yeah, of course.
About this thing. So at that time, there were all these incredible African American artists, but they wouldn't get paid as much as white artists. It just was the thing. It was awful. And so he had to then do other things to, obviously up his income. So what he started to do was record variations of his songs in different studios for an upfront fee, and that brought up his monthlies. He would evade recording contracts on purpose and used various pseudonyms. So he was John Lee Booker, John Lee Cooker, John Lee, like he just Texas Slim, Delta John,
Crazy.
Birmingham Sam, and he even called himself Magic Guitar. So he just called himself all these different names, and then was able to up the amount of money that he was making. Later on, of course, he became huge. He toured Europe. He went to the American Folk Blues Festival, and his Dimples became a really big, successful single in the UK charts in 1964. But what was really interesting was in 2000, and I'm just trying to find the year, this song, Boom Boom, which is one of his biggest songs, became a hit because it was used in a commercial in the UK, and it was for like jeans or something, girls' jeans. This song.
Wow.
Yeah, Boom Boom. And everyone fell in love with it, and it was number 16 in like 2010. It was number 16 on the UK singles chart. So let me tell you about Boom Boom. When asked why he wrote it, he said, I'm always late for gigs. That's how I roll. So he was supposed to start the gig, and he would rock up late. And he said there was this one venue where every night he used to get there. And this girl who was working there used to go, boom, boom, you're late again. And every night it was the same, boom, boom,
Funny.
You're late. And
See, that's real.
It's real.
Like, that's something that happened to him. He's not.
Yeah.
And you take a song like that. That's why I appreciate, like, old timers. We call, I love that. Like, he's coming. There's no philosophical thing in it. I used to go in, I'm late. This girl used to tell me boom, boom. I'll do a song about it. Let's go,
Well, he said, after a while, he started to go, there's a song in there. So after one of the gigs, he sat at the bar going, boom, boom. And then he put another load of, this is why you got to listen to the lyrics, because it's proper rhythm and blues, but it's all real. How, and it's all part of the thing. And I remember this really well. And Boom Boom is actually the song that he plays in the Blues Brothers, and Boom Boom is the song that has had the most success. It's been covered loads of times as well, because everyone wants to have a go with Boom Boom. But it was because of this waitress talking about the fact that she would just say to him, boom, boom, you're late. Now, the song itself, released in 1962, instant hit, entered the Billboard Hot 100 on June the 16th, 1962, spent 8 weeks there. It also entered the UK pop charts. It then went round Europe, like everywhere. So 30 years after its release, 30 years after its release, it was a jeans commercial in 1992 that actually caused it to have another sort of relive. But I want to talk just about the end. It's really interesting. What's really nice is when John Lee Hooker finally left this planet, he left 5 homes, one in Los Altos, one in Redwood City, one in Long Beach, and one in Gilroy, California. He died in his sleep very happily in 2001 in his Californian home. He left, get this, he left 8 children, 19 grandchildren, and numerous great-grandchildren. He had family around him like no other, and
sure
they loved him.
He had some Arabic roots right there. Yeah, no.
That's what you're calling it. The New York Times Magazine listed John Lee Hooker among hundreds of artists whose recordings were reportedly destroyed in the 2008 Universal fire, which is quite interesting too. But he's won Grammys, he's won Lifetime Achievement Awards, he won the National Endowment for the Arts, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, he's in that, the Blues Hall of Fame, he's in that. Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, did I mention that? The Hollywood Walk of Fame, yeah, the whole 9 yards. This guy is a legend. And so let's listen to the song and imagine the waitress going, boom, boom, you're late again. And that's where the song came from.
It's Yalla Home.
With Ana Schofield
And Big Cass.